welcome back to my channel. Today I want to show you how to make these specimen cards that are garden related. I previously showed you how to make this type of specimen cards that are insects, and I used a template to cut this file folder type of shape. But for these ones, I'm using a different type of shape, which is basically a rectangle with a tab on top. And I'm using images from an encyclopedia for my plants. So let's get started. So for this project, to make your bases, you will need some type of cardstock. I'm using this ivory kind of color of texture cardstock that it's the same that I used for my previous specimen cards as well. You will need another type of cardstock or scrapbook paper to make your tabs. I'm using this scrapbook paper from a recollection paper pad. It's a garden paper pad, so it fits, and I really love this pattern. I'm using a little bit of that, so I have a piece cut here. And you need images of plants or whatever you want to make your specimen cards. I'm currently working on a garden journal, and that's why I'm making these specimen cards garden style, I guess. So I got my images from an encyclopedia. If you've been here before, you know that I love using old encyclopedias. I'm very lucky to have this one, the letter G. So it has a whole section about gardening. And I've already taken a couple of pages from this. I don't know if you can see here, but I've ripped a few pages from the gardening section. I really love all the images that come here. This table here, it's great. This could be like a great journaling card. Just put all of that in there. And so from that book, I got these plants. So it has a picture of the plant and the description. When I think about a specimen card, I think about a scientist making these cards, and scientists like to describe things and put information. So I like that it has the information in there. And I also mix it up with my scientific magazine pages that I'll show you in a little bit. So to make the tabs, I made myself a template that I have here. And I already have one base prepared, but we're gonna work on that. And I think I have this other plant cut out from this page that I need to use before I lose it. So I'm using the same formula that I've used before, which is I put a piece of paper from a scientific journal or magazine, and I'll show you those. If you're new here, maybe you don't know, but I am a scientist. And a while ago, a lot of old scientific magazines were put in the recycling, and I rescued them. And so I have plenty of these magazines, and I've taken some of those pages and I modified them in different ways. I'm gonna link a video down in the description box so you can check out how I modify them. I basically just throw watercolors at them or markers, and I really like the graphs. I think having a graph as a background and then putting your specimen on top, it gives that scientific look of a specimen. But you can also just use any text or anything that you would like to have in the background of your specimen. So maybe I'll take this. Well, I have a little bit of here from the leftover graph, so I'm not sure which one I want to use right now. I have other graphs here, but I also have these maps, and I'm kind of liking the idea of having a map instead of graphs and numbers. So we're gonna play around with those. So this is all you need. And as you can see, I'm using a lot of junk or recycled material to create this specimen cards. Okay, so let's start by cutting out our bases. I have written here. So I'm doing it 6 by 8 centimeters, which is 3 by 2.5 inches. So let's just cut a couple of those. Okay, so I have three, and I have another one here. I think this ended up being shorter, but that's okay. That's my reference measurement. And as you can see, this has the round corners. So I'm gonna go ahead and round my corners with my smaller size, which is 4 millimeters. And then we're gonna ink the edges, and we're gonna make it look old because this is actually not new paper. This cardstock, I have it for maybe 15 years. So it is not new material, but it's still looking pretty good. It hasn't aged. So we're gonna age it. So first I go all around the edges of all my bases like this. Okay. And now we're gonna age them. So I'm gonna put them in this piece of paper here and go over. I didn't add new ink to my sponge. So I'm just going in circle motions on top of my cardstock. And there we have an aged specimen card. And now let's create our tab. So to make my template, I cut a piece of cardstock that is, what is it, 4 centimeters by 5, which is 1 3/4 inch and 2 inches. And then I used my circle punch to cut out a circle from here. And so then I grab my scrap piece of paper, which I guess it's the right width or height. I guess that would be the height. I don't know. I guess it's the height. And now I'm going to actually cut it at 5 centimeters. Okay, so we have two 5 by 4 centimeters rectangles, which again in inches, that was 2 by 1 3/4 inch. And I'm gonna grab my template and I'm gonna put it over like this. I'm gonna go ahead and draw those little notches there. So here you have two options. You can cut them with your scissors. That's what I'm gonna do with this one, and we'll do the other one differently. I always have a hard time cutting with my scissors. I was gonna say I have a hard time cutting circles, but honestly I have a hard time cutting straight lines as well. So then we fold this in half like so. And where's my knife? Here. And we have a tab. You can now go ahead and cut more if you think that you need. For example, when I folded, my ends don't meet perfectly, so I just try to fix that if necessary. There we go. So for the next one, not that one, I'm gonna do the same. Okay, so that's gonna be a guide now to see where I'm going to punch a hole, a circle, not a hole. And I'm using, this is the, what size is this? Is this a 2-inch circle punch? I think it is. So I'm gonna try to line the marks I already made with my circle punch so that I just cut there. This helps me to know where, like how deep I want the notches to be. Otherwise, I'm just gonna do different things, but you can see that these are not gonna be exact anyways. but that's okay. So then you fold it in half again, and there we have the other tab. But again, here you can see that they don't fit properly, so I'm just gonna go and trim that excess. There we go. So we have our tabs. You could make the tabs the same color as your bases, but I wanted to add some more garden theme, and I think they look pretty, very pretty in here. So now I'm gonna go ahead and ink these, but I'm gonna do this off camera so that you don't see so much inking. Well, maybe I'll show you how I ink them. So I open them up and I ink the notch and the edges. And then I folded it and I ink the top. And there we have it. I don't necessarily ink inside, but you'll see why. So I'm also been using these little pieces of cardstock. This is actually from a file folder. These are 1 centimeter wide and 3 centimeters long. And I'm using this to create a label on top. Okay, so I already measured. I had a 3 centimeter rectangle, and I measure 1 centimeters, and then I just cut them. Well, I'm gonna use my trimmer, following those lines I cut there. Let's see if I can do it because this paper is too short. Let's do one for now. I'm not sure how many we're gonna make today. Maybe we'll make only 2. So I'm gonna ink them very lightly. This one is actually thinner than what I wanted. That's okay. And we save those for when we need them. And so now we're gonna pick our images. I'm gonna continue working with these plants. These are house plants. And all I'm doing with these ones is I'm trimming the excess paper using my ruler like this. So maybe this one needs a little bit more from the bottom. So we have that one. And then we're gonna do another one. What about this corn plant? So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this whole section here. I'm leaving the name and the drawing and the description of the plant because that's all information you want on a specimen card. If these were real specimen cards. There we go. And now let's pick our background. So we have these papers to choose from. I've already used a bar graph and another type of graph here. So do I want to, let's use this other one just so that I finish using this page. I'm gonna cut all of those names there, but I am gonna leave those triangles, and I think I may just leave it like that. We'll see in a little bit if we need to trim it more or we want it like to leave it like that. And the other one I want to use is a map. I actually like this Hong Kong because it has that square. I really like the feel of this paper because when it got wet, when I was doing those marks, I don't know, it feels really good. Try to modify magazine paper by adding watercolors to them. It's fun. Okay, so this one has that little bit there. So this one, it's a lot smaller, but we're gonna make it work. So I'm gonna pick 2. Oh, why don't we use the one that is smaller? I think this one. So we're gonna use these 2. So now that one's gonna go there, and this one's gonna go here. And I'm thinking I want this one with this one, Now, some of the background is gonna get covered, and that's totally fine because it's background, but I still want the numbers, the letters, and all of that to be there. And with this one, we're gonna do it like this. Yeah. So let's ink. So I don't know if I mentioned, but I am going for the vintage look here. Vintage botanical scientist look. So there's a lot of inking. But you don't have to ink if you don't want to. So now we're gonna glue. I am doing much better from my cold that I had. Well, thankfully, because it's been like 3 weeks already. But these last few days, my allergies have been out of control. So my throat feels very raspy right now. If you hear my voice weird, that's what's happening. Okay, so that's how I'm gonna do it. I really like to use this magazine paper because it's so thin, and when you glue it with glue stick, kind of melts into the cardstock. So now I'm gonna add my African violet. Oh no, that moved. So now the other one. Okay, so this is the map. Oh, I glued the map crooked, if you can see. That's okay. We're going for the vintage, old, grungy look. And I don't remember if this how was the layout I wanted to do, but that's what I did now. So in my other cards that I have here, I have other elements that I always put in my specimen cards. I have some sort of sticker. This is a flower and this is a bird stamp. And then I added some other stamps. This one that says book number, and then some postage stamps or like an approved seal. It's like a seal of approval. That's how I'm looking at them. And in the tab, I'm numbering them. So this was the first I made. So it's 01 and then 02. And then here I glued some popular plants from the same encyclopedia page. But here I just stamp a date, but it's not perfect, which is what I wanted. It's like a ghost stamp. So we have to figure that out now. We're gonna work on our tabs. So let's leave those there. So for one of these, I want to stamp garden. I have a garden stamp. Okay, so I'll show you what happened. I have a garden stamp. Garden. But it's not there. I don't know what it is. So I've been working on the garden journal, so I'm sure I've used it for the journal and I left it somewhere on my desk. But my desk is a mess. Oh, I found it. I found it. Okay, so let's use this one. I still have this one from my fall journal in here. I need to get better at putting my stamps away after I use them. But I'm always thinking, oh, what if I want to use it again? And I either leave them still attached to the stamping block or loose somewhere on my desk and then they disappear. Okay, so the only issue with this is that the stamp is bigger than my rectangle of paper. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna glue the paper first and then we stamp directly on the tab. So I'm gonna use our glitter glue for this and just try to glue it in the center. If you hear something in the background, it's my son playing, making weird noises. So I'm going to stamp it with black. And to do this, I'm just gonna open my tab and just stamp on top. Ooh, look at that. I like that. And we still need to stamp the number. What color I'm using for the numbers? Still black, yes. So I'm using these stamps. So now we're gonna do 03. I think these are all going to go in the same journal, so I kind of like the idea that it's like that they belong to the same set. So I'm gonna do it. Where do I do it? I don't have a lot of space now here. 03. Perfect. Gonna put this away. I'm gonna need the zero again, but I'll put it again for now before I lose them. Okay, so that's how this one's gonna go. So I'm not gonna glue it right away because I'm trying to think if I want to stamp something here. I clearly need to stamp something here and put the sticker here on top. But I would like some of those seal type of stamps on this corner. I'm gonna use this one and we're gonna do it there. So now I'm going to glue the stamp. This is the part where your creativity can flow because all the rest was cutting, inking, but now we're trying to decide how to make each of these specimen cards to look interesting and to be unique, you know. You don't have to follow my formula to make these. Glue it like that. I don't even need to follow my own formula. Since I'm gonna have some leftover bases, I may just make more, trying to experiment a different formula. Okay, so we have that part ready, and let's see what we're gonna do now. I do want to all have the book number because they kind of all belong to the same book, you know. I always try to think about who's making these things. I like it. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Okay, and now we're gonna pick a sticker. And you know what we're using? My favorite sticker set that I think that I haven't used in a while. So I went ahead yesterday and separate them by color. And so I've been kind of leaning towards red with these ones. I feel like the colors, because it's all green, it requires like a red. So that's what we're gonna do. So let's see. Do we want a stamp? Oh, let's do the stamp. I like the idea of having a stamp there. So I think I have some extra plastic going this way. There we go. And here we're gonna stamp again with this one. Do we want it full or off the page a little bit? Maybe off the page a little bit. And maybe a little bit here. There we have. Look at that. I really like it. So let's work on the next one. So for this one, maybe we just want to stamp the numbers in here to make it simpler. So this is 04. So I'm going to glue that in there now. I could be using my tweezers for this. So this is gonna go like this. Ooh, pretty. Okay, do we want to stamp here? I'm not sure. actually. I want to do something different with this one. So maybe we're gonna leave the top free. And let's look at the other. We've put the sticker always on the right side. Is that the right? So maybe for this one we'll put the sticker on the left. Let's glue this first. Wow, I really like it. How simple it looks. But I still want to put a sticker and the book number. So we're gonna stamp the book number. Maybe this one we're gonna make it simpler and not add more stamps. Can I do that? Maybe I can. So I said that I want to put the sticker here. So the book number, let's do it here. There we go. Oh, there was another stamp that I wanted to try. Okay, this one says certificado, which means certified. So we're gonna certify this. There we go. Nice. And a sticker. We just need a small sticker for this one. That's why I like to use this set, because it has smaller stickers and different types of stickers. And we're still gonna go with the red. We could just do a flower like that. Let's see. We're gonna leave that outside. Or what about that? No. No, we're gonna do the flower. Do we want the carnation or that? I like the small one. I really like this one that it's simpler. And I'm basically just using the sticker to cover that corner there. See? Nice. I'm not gonna do any of the round stamps for this one, but I want to do what I did here. I took this to my sewing machine, as you can see here, and I'm gonna do that now. I'll be right back. This adds something very interesting here. You can leave the strings hanging if you like that look. I kind of don't like them. So I'm just gonna trim them. Oops, not completely. Maybe I'll leave a little tail. And there we go. We have 4 specimen cards that can be used as journaling cards, so you can write here. So in today's video, we made this one, which it's a lot simpler than the other ones, but I really like it. And this other one. And I have these 2 that I've made before. So I wanted to show you before I go. This is the journal. This is a sneak peek. I'm working on this journal. I've used this fabric before. I still have some leftovers, so I'm gonna keep using it. But I have a page in here. The journal is not bound yet. Where this could go, and they would look really nice. Look at that. This is the same paper as the top, so I really like that combination. I'm really happy about this. Since I have some leftover bases, not you, these 2, I may keep working. Oh, and I have a leftover tab as well. I may keep making more, but maybe I'll change the tabs. I don't know. Let's see. So I hope you enjoyed this video and you had an idea on how to make simple specimen cards that can be used as journaling cards. And all I used was pictures from an encyclopedia, and the background it's from scientific journals, but you can use backgrounds from anywhere. Actually, before I go, I keep forgetting things. So let's look at the book again. So if you have an old encyclopedia, this is from 1990. Okay, so this is pretty old. I know it's hard to believe that 1990 is a long time ago, but it is 34 years ago. And there is a lot more new information. So there are things that maybe haven't changed, but a lot of the information in these books is old, it's outdated. And we have the internet now. So yeah, I don't that's those are the reasons I give myself to not feel guilty about cutting through an encyclopedia. But you can find so many things, like there are maps, there are numbers, more maps in here. Look, insects, graphs. So you could use a lot of, oh, look at all this math information. You could create specimen cards like mine without having the scientific magazine if you have an encyclopedia. Now, if you feel bad about this one, you can find older ones. These ones are outdated. The problem with the very old ones is that most of the images are black and white, but you can still use the numbers in here. Oh, look at that fairy, so pretty. Oh, some are color images. Wow, I haven't seen these images before. These are awesome. I need to make something with this. Okay. The fish. Oh, this is the F. I had this one here because I wanted to show you. Where is it? The flowers. I have all of these flowers. I was thinking about cutting a flower from here. Look at this. So this one is from 1951. So, yes, this is a long time ago. You can cut into it. I bought both of these books at a thrift store. So, otherwise, they were going to go to the trash landfill anyway. So, don't feel bad about using encyclopedias. They have so many cool images that you can use to create things like this. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time soon. Bye.